you could try and get a hold of the crisis negotiation team and get them to start this way.
A long chase follows an Illinois sheriff's deputy being shot, and we now have learned that lawman has died. It is an active Thursday evening, everyone. I'm Tyler Lopez. Thank you for joining us. The armed standoff near Lincoln is tonight's top story. We begin this Thursday with breaking news now out of Logan County, where this chase has stopped. But it began early this morning in the northern Illinois city of Rockford. That's quite a distance, nearly 175 miles away from the starting point. So this was the scene for hundreds of drivers, including a viewer who took cell phone video of that high-speed chase, believed to be at over 100 miles per hour. A timeline now. Just after 9 a.m., a U.S. Marshals Service task force trying to serve an arrest warrant for 39-year-old Floyd Brown at a hotel in Rockford. A sheriff's deputy with McLean County was with that task force when he was shot. It's believed he was shot through the door. Earlier this afternoon, state police reported the deputy had died. He's now been identified as Jacob Keltner. Another woman in that hotel room with the suspect, Floyd Brown, also shot. She was treated and released with survivable wounds. Police believe that Floyd jumped out of his third-floor hotel room, got in a car, and took off. Then the high-speed chase, which ended where we find my co-anchor, Caitlin Canute, live tonight in Logan County, where Mr. Floyd, Caitlin, may still be armed.
So, Tyler, right now, we are along a side road that runs parallel to 55. In fact, that's what you see here behind me. I'm going to have my photographer zoom in. You see all those cars there? When we talked to state police earlier, they estimated at least 40 law enforcement vehicles over there. We've counted maybe as many as 60. And just within the past 10 minutes, we've seen some movement. So what you can't see right now is that on the other side of that line of vehicles, that's where we believe the suspect, 39-year-old Floyd Brown, his vehicle is in a ditch. Again, this all started earlier today in Rockford, as you mentioned, about 2.5 hours south then here outside of Lincoln. That's where it ended when he ended up spinning out of control. But again, within just the past 10 minutes, that's when we heard rather, 4 loud booms. I checked in with Illinois State Police. They said those were flashbangs. That's a non-explosive type of grenade used typically to stun a suspect. But again, at last check, he was inside his vehicle still and had not emerged. But here's what state police had to say when we checked in with them earlier. Take a listen.
In a situation like this, an enforceable felony, we will pursue, and in this case, obviously, with the weapons charges and the assault on the officer, yes, he was pursued down to our location.
So earlier, police told us they had been in contact with the suspect, although it was unclear exactly what the extent of that contact was or how they were talking to him. But again, we're seeing some movement here on the scene. So over there, you can see a white vehicle. We do have SWAT who's here on the team. There's a large presence gathered there. We can see a number of people. Just from my vantage point, it looks like at least 8 or 10 people who are standing there. So we're wondering if this is finally coming to a head. As we mentioned earlier, at one point, police said he had been popping his head in and out of the vehicle door, but he has not emerged. And again, as we've been telling you on air and online all day, it is believed that he is armed and dangerous. Police believe he has at least an AK-47 on his possession in the car. So it is a delicate situation. And again, keep in mind, the law enforcement officers who were out here have in the back of the heads the fact that one of their own was shot and killed, allegedly by that suspect earlier in Rockford. So that's something that's weighing on them. Still, they have a job to do. This section of 55 obviously is closed to the public for safety reasons. That's why we can't take you any closer. It's not safe for us to be out there. Police have set up kind of a staging area, and that's where we've been communicating with them. And again, we're staying live right now just to see if something does happen. This is the most activity we have seen here on this scene since we've been out here. Just myself personally, I got here a little over an hour and a half ago. Monica Murphy, one of our reporters, had been here during the day. And finally, we are seeing people emerging from their vehicles, gathering over by that large white SWAT vehicle you see there. And again, we had those 4 loud booms that state police said were flashbangs deployed earlier. So it seems as though they are taking some action, trying to get the suspect out of his vehicle. We're going to take a break because there's no telling how long these situations can last. We'll toss it back to you, Tyler, but obviously if something does happen here, we will break back in and let you know. Tyler, back to you.
No doubt. Thank you, Caitlin. We'll hear from her in just a few minutes. And this run from police has roots in McLean County. That's just one of several jurisdictions that wanted Floyd Brown for other active investigations. Bloomington is where we continue our team coverage live now with Kyle Beachy. Kyle?
Well, that's right, Tyler. I'm here in Bloomington at the police department, where the police tell me that Floyd Brown has been wanted in connection with residential burglary here since an incident on December 23rd of last year. During that incident, Brown was approached by officers, then took off in his car driving through yards before ending in a 3-vehicle crash on Veterans Parkway. 2 people were sent to the hospital in that incident, and Brown escaped on foot. The public was warned at that time that Brown was to be considered armed and dangerous. Officer John Furman says the U.S. Marshals Task Force was serving warrants from McLean, Sangamon, and Champaign counties when Brown shot the McHenry County deputy earlier today. Bloomington police thought he might even exit I-55 back into their city during his run.
We were prepared if he did actually enter the city that we needed to basically go to an emergency state because a lot of lives could be at risk if he came into Bloomington.
Furman also told me that there is a Bloomington police officer on that task force, but he was not on the scene today during the shooting. Live in Bloomington, I'm Kyle Beachy, 25 News.
As we've said, we're following breaking news that chase that has ended in Logan County. We're hoping for some developments right now. We want to go back live, as we promised we would, to Caitlin Canute, live on the scene in Logan County. Caitlin, what are you seeing now?
Tyler, breaking news, the suspect is in custody. I repeat, that suspect is in custody now, according to state police. This just happened within the past 10 minutes. When we last saw you, we told you we were seeing activity here just outside of Lincoln along I-55. So here's what we saw. We saw a group of people getting out of their vehicles. On the other side of those vehicles, that's where 39-year-old Floyd Brown was believed to be in his vehicle in a ditch after spinning out after a chase with police. So we saw people get out of their vehicles. We saw them gather. We heard 4 loud flashbangs. And sometime between then and now, that suspect, Mr. Brown, was taken into custody. Illinois State Police just confirming that for us. Again, they are accusing him of shooting and killing a sheriff's deputy from McHenry County who was working with a task force trying to serve warrants connected to crimes in Bloomington, along with other counties. And that all started in Rockford. It then prompted a police chase that ended here outside of Lincoln, 170 miles away. Approximately 2.5-hour drive. This has been going on all day long, but it seems as though we have finally reached a conclusion. So as you come back here again, just want to reiterate, as of right now, the standoff is over. That suspect is in police custody. We know an ambulance was called to the scene. It's not clear if he is injured or if any other officers have been injured, but we are working to get that information. So we hope to have an update for you both here on air and online. But again, it looks as though the standoff is over and that suspect, Tyler, is in police custody.
Caitlin Canute live in Logan County with the resolution. Thank you, Caitlin.